I hear nothing right now.
Wait, what? No.
Do you see the green bars moving on your side?
All right, and good evening. Welcome to another edition of the North Florida High School Football Talk. Marty, Pallman, Corey Davis with you here from Beef Brady's in Stark. Apologies, we're joining you a little bit late. It's been a cluster today, so been a lot to say about that. But Corey,
Cluster.
we are back here. Apparently, Corey
Today?
BMOC, according to
So,
Man on campus.
a lot to say about that.
that's pretty cool.
Again, we want to thank Beef Brady's. You see them on the bottom of your screen here in Stark for allowing us to come out and do the show again this week. We will tell you about their specials a little bit later. But first, we are going to get started this week with a look back at week 3. God, it's already week 4 this week. And
Yeah.
we're flying through this season.
And as Josh mentioned on his social media, one team has already clinched the playoff spot.
He loves doing that.
Team
Yeah.
down in South Florida.
I was going to say Trinity Catholic.
Yeah, I want to say it was Clearwater Central Catholic or
Yeah.
someone like that.
2-team district. They already played. Yeah. I know, that's a surprise. You know, they, if you remember going back a little bit further, because we do go back further. The way they used to do this, they used to have 2-team districts, and they said, "Well, we're not going to have these anymore," but they still have them. They can't seem to get away.
Look at
from
Trinity
that.
Catholic and PK Young.
I know, right? Exactly. It's another.
That's why Trinity Catholic plays such a demanding schedule because they know they're going to murder PK.
And they beat PK Young badly,
Right.
and then they win the district. That's true. But as you can see, 40 years of Beef O'Brady's, and they have those kind of specials tonight. It's Wing Wednesday, 99cent each traditional, and BOGO free boneless wings. Thursdays, $12.99 stakeout Thursdays with a ribeye steak sandwich, Philly fry plus cheesesteak fries, and a Cowboy steak salad. Excuse me. Fish and chips Fridays, $11.49. Cheeseburger and wings Saturdays, $11.99, and Sundays, $1.99 kids combo. So
Don't forget the
something
new
every day.
specials too.
Oh yeah, we also have these meal deal specials. $10.99 Angus cheeseburger and fries, which I like. Crispy chicken sandwich and fries, and jumbo wings and fries.
It's an appetizer, a drink,
Yeah,
and a meal.
doing like the Chili's.
Yeah,
right. The 3. Yeah, you get a starter, a meal and fries, and a fountain drink. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, that is Beef Brady's here in Stark. But all right, we're going to start with a look back at Ocala area, and our first game is going to be a game we talked about, the Brantley Bowl, and it was not a good homecoming for Coach John Brantley and Forest. Close game though, but Trinity Catholic beats Forest for the 4th time in a row, 16-10. Trinity, who the game the week before against Melbourne Central Catholic was not completed, so they're now 2-0, and Forest now 1-1. Good game though there.
Yeah, and we talked about the schedule that Trinity Catholic's playing. I mean, unfortunately, the Melbourne Central Catholic game was not finished, but the week before, they went down to Tampa Catholic, wasn't it? I think. I mean, they're playing the big dogs. They're not playing cupcakes week to week, so they're getting ready and prepared for the playoffs.
Yeah, they are, and of course, as you said, their schedule. They've already played Tampa Catholic, who they beat on the road. Melbourne Central Catholic. This was their home opener against that schedule. So that schedule, they get Eastside coming in. So that'll be an interesting matchup as well. Eastside suffered their first loss of the season to their city rival Buchholz. We'll talk about that more in the Gainesville area. Meanwhile, Newberry now 0-3. Vanguard goes in there. They haven't had a home game yet. 3 straight weeks on the road. Buchholz. Then they went to Lake Mineola. And then it was Newberry. They beat 27-3 last week at Newberry. So Vanguard goes to 2-1. Newberry, tough year for them so far. They fall to 0-3. Not only 0-3, but they're not even scoring points.
Well, they'll get their first win this week
Against
Keystone Heights.
Yeah, that's true. They will most likely get that
The
one.
next 3 games are telling for Newberry because they get Palaca in another district game. Actually, the next 3 games are all district games because I believe they get Palaca and Santa Fe in some sort of that order.
Right.
So they could be 3-3 going into the rivalry game.
Actually, Plaque and Santa Fe played this week.
Right.
So
Right.
That's where I'll be Friday.
That's where you'll be. No, you'll be in Alachua.
Yeah.
So that is, but that's also a game we'll talk about a little bit later. Santa Fe is now 2-0. West Nassau, they hand Lake Weir their first loss of the year, 48-12. Newly renovated stadium in Callahan, and the Warriors go to 4-0, beating previously undefeated Lake Weir.
That's a beautiful stadium. I saw pictures of it on social media, and they got the nice field turf. I think the stands really didn't change much, but I believe they also got a brand new scoreboard too. So it's become a tough place to play now, and it's hard to stop that win game they got.
Yeah, I was in Callahan 2 weeks ago because I have a family up there, and I drove by the stadium, and I could tell they were doing work on it. You could see the turf being put in. So I always kind of like going to their field anyway. Bishop Kenny played there a few times, and always
Good atmosphere there.
it's a good atmosphere.
Yeah, it looks like they've really done a nice job with that. And West Nassau, of course, now plays.
Yeah,
in
it
the
looks like they've really
SSAA.
done a nice job with that. And West Nassau, of course, now plays in the
We'll go for the one side, the
SSAA.
undefeated
Is
West
Nassau to the other side. Bellevue loses their 24th game in a row. They're getting closer, though, as they drop the game 21-14 to Chiefland, who's now 2-1. Bellevue 0-3 this season. And I say this might be the week because they play another winless team this week at this Bellevue.
Yeah, we'll see. They play Dixie County in about an 0-3 team.
Sorry, right. And both teams are 0-3 coming into that game, so we'll see how that comes out for either one. Somebody's going to get their first win of the season. Speaking of Westport, they lose to Denellen at home 28-14. So Denellen, who started 0-2, gets their first win. Westport falls to 0-3. And then again, Denellen had played in the first 2 weeks Bradford and Florida High, I believe.
Florida High, right,
so
right.
tough start for them, and they get a win against their Marion County rival, Westport. How about this game at North Marion? Why is Fort White 0-0? We don't know the record. Sorry. I was looking at that like shootout at Stan Tool Stadium. So visiting Indians of Fort White, 41-40 over North Marion, who's now 1-2.
Yeah, I couldn't believe the score when I saw that game. North Marion plays Crescent City this week at home. And, Crescent City plays a ground game. They call it ground and pound and, old school defense. So I'm not sure that game will be a shootout, but this game, Fort White's got athletes. Coach Jackson always has tremendous athletes out there, and it continues with the big win over North Marion this past week.
Yeah, big win against North Marion, as you said. So Fort White gets that win.
By the way, they're 2-1. They lost to Taylor County
Right.
week 1. Then they beat Bellevue 26-15.
Yeah.
They lost to Taylor County 20-3.
Right. Taylor County is undefeated still, I believe. So, and here's another game. It's scheduled.
Slam.
Not so much. They got slammed by Ocala Christian, as Corey writes. Wow, no defense at all. Wow. Of Ocala Christian, 84. Tampa Slam 42. Sounds like a basketball game to me. But the Crusaders
You got to love that 6-man, 8-man football because these are the type of scores you see every single week because nobody ever comes off the field.
Yep, that's right. They did.
And basically, Tampa Slam is a fairly newer school.
Mhm.
There are a bunch of slams actually across the state.
There's a Miami Slam Academy.
Yeah.
You're right. There's a few others. Miami Slam Academy, their basketball teams made the Final Four a few times.
I remember when we went to an FHSA meeting, and towards the end of the year they discussed which teams are going to be possibly joining the FHSA, and Slam was one of the teams that particular meeting. And I'm going, good gracious, how many are there? Because it seemed like every town in South Florida, Orlando, Tampa, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, all had slams.
Yeah, they did. All had slams. And this one gets slammed by Ocala Christian.
Slam dunk there by the Soldiers.
Basketball game there.
Right.
All right, Corey, tell me about Beef O'Brady's.
Well, they have great specials. We talked about this triple meal deal. $10.99, you get a starter, a meal, and a drink. And $10.99 gives you an Angus cheeseburger and French fries, crispy chicken sandwich and fries, or 6 wings and fries. For $13.99, you get traditional Cuban and fries, which I had last week, and that was very good, by the way. You also get 4 branded chicken tenders and fries, 10 jumbo wings and fries. For $16.99, you get a 6-ounce sirloin and fries, 12 shrimp grilled, blackened or hand breaded and fries, or an Angus double cheeseburger and fries for $16.99. Not to mention, as you said earlier, the today's specials 99-cent wings, traditional. Order in 6, 10, 15, or 20, or BOGO free boneless. Buy 6, get 6 free.
Yep, that's Beef O'Brady's here in Stark. So, again, I want to thank them. We're back here in the party room looking at a Keystone Heights a jersey, a Union County jersey, and a Bradford jersey. We're right. Stark's kind of in between. They also have Keystone and Union folks here as well. Of course, we're right across the street from Bradford, and they have a big game again this week. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but they are able to get a win at South Sumter, a close one, 14-12 between two undefeated teams. So they'll head to Mandarin this week. But last week in Gainesville, as we head to the Gainesville area, I mentioned the city rivalry. Buchholz able to say that right. Chris Johnson, they east side for the 13th time in a row, but it was closer. 29-19. This was I think 15-13 game in the third quarter at one point. But Buchholz able to pull away. They're now 30-14 all time against East Side. First loss of the year for the Rams, and Buchholz comes back from that loss from Vero Beach the week before to go to 2-1. They're going to Manatee this week.
Yeah, and Manatee's play one of the two losses was to one of those California powers that came over when California murdered Florida in several games.
They did. Sure. I think they won all of those games down there.
I think so too.
But Buchholz does get the win. They're 2-1 now. You
gotta feel sorry for East Side. I mean, they dominated the first half.
Right.
They're probably thinking, okay, it's our turn. We're finally going to beat Buchholz. And then Chris Johnson gets loose.
They got over the Gainesville high hump. They hadn't beaten them in about 11, 12 years. They've beaten them in the last 3 seasons now, I think. But, yeah, I haven't been able to get over that Buchholz hump yet. So enough for the Bobcats to win the game. And, again, they'll hit the road for the first time this season, going to Manatee in Bradenton on Friday night. Again, Eastside will go to Trinity Catholic, so it'll be a tough game there as well. Well, Hawthorne, they get revenge. The only regular season game they've lost in 4 years was to Florida High last year in Tallahassee. Cornelius Ingram didn't coach that game because he was dealing with a health issue after the game the week before against Newberry. This time they get Florida High at home, and the Hornets get revenge, 33-27 over the Seminoles. And a big win for Hawthorne to go to 3-0. And this week they go to Oakleaf, another huge game.
That'll be I hate to say that's the first big test, but it might be. It might be the first big test of the year because
Florida High is a test.
I mean, Florida High was obviously too, but
yeah, but you're right. Oakleaf's going to be a big.
Oakleaf was balling right now.
Hawthorne won that game last year on a Hail Mary against Oakleaf at home.
Yeah.
So they'll have to hit the road this week. But another win for them. They're 3-0. Gainesville, again, 5 straight away games for them, and they win their second out of 3 so far at Crystal River, 20-7. So far, Gainesville has beaten Aubrey Rogers of Naples. Then they lost to Davenport, and they win at Crystal River. This week it's Forest and Ocala. Getting a little bit closer to home every week. It seems
what a bizarre schedule to open up with five. I mean, I like Missouri. We talk about in college. Missouri opens up with 5 or 6 consecutive home games, but they open up with 5 consecutive away games. That's kind of strange.
It is. It is a little strange, and their first home game is against Buchholz, so that'll be a nice game for them.
I think that's in October. I think.
Yeah, they usually have that in the middle of October. So yeah, that'll be. They got 2 more games on the road, I think, and then a bye maybe. But and by the way, you are watching the North Florida High School Football Show. We are again live tonight from Beef O'Brady's and Stark. Coming up at 9 o'clock, we'll have the college football report for last week, and plenty to talk about there as well. So right now we are, as we said, in Stark, and the Bradford Tornadoes again. They are able to go on the road and get a win, 14-12 at South Sumter. Good defensive game. Both teams are undefeated. Tornadoes come out with a 2-point win.
I mean, I thought it was a gritty game, and obviously it was.
To go to South Sumter
is even more impressive to win that game. They had won that game at home. They've been like, okay, you're playing at home. You're expected to win that game. But to go on the road, South Sumter traditionally, I know in the playoffs,
teams don't really typically go there
unless you're Bulls. You don't typically go there and win it.
Yeah, you really don't. They've always been tough at home. They've beaten Bulls there before too, down as well. Rivalry game for Bradford. They beat Bell 28-7. So Bell now 0-3. They were 9-3 a year ago. Off to 0-3 start. Plus they've lost to their 2 biggest rivals in Trenton and in Brantford. Brantford now goes to 2-1.
Not sure what's going on there.
Not sure what's going on there because last year Landon Williams,
Stop him. He rushed.
you couldn't stop him. He rushed for over 1,000 yards.
Reason,
But for whatever reason, the offense is not clicking right now. Maybe they got a little big-headed. Maybe they lost some of the offensive line from last year. But
I mean, early in the season.
It's so early in the season to say that don't count them out.
I'm sure going 0-3 was.
I'm sure going 0-3 was not in the cards.
No, probably not. And they dropped their first game of the year as well. So, of course, they were supposed to play O'Call when that game never happened, so it was postponed.
And it sounds like it's never.
And it sounds like
it's never. They announced that back.
Which is ironic because
my game that night that got rained out.
They're going to finish Monday.
They're going to finish Monday.
Yeah, Interlochen, Coach Gibson.
Christchurch and Interlochen.
They're going to finish that this Monday.
Yeah, coming Monday.
You're going to be heading out to that too.
3 games in 8 days.
3 games in 8 days.
Heading out Monday.
Oh yeah.
The last quarter or so of that. That's always fun.
Last 15.
It's always fun.
Last 15 minutes.
Well, we talked about Bellevue losing 24 in a row. Bronson, they've lost 17 in a row. They go to Winter Park, all the way to Winter Park, and lose 27-0 to Trinity Prep. Not only did they lose, they get blanked there. So, again, they remain winless. On the opposite side of that, Trenton. Ryan Fry continuing to be a big turnaround here. They go to 3-0. They had to get by, though, 21-20 against the Silver Christian to go to 3-0 this season.
Yeah, what a job by Coach.
Yeah, what a job by Coach Fry. He's useless at girls basketball with the girls basketball team.
The baseball and the softball team.
Baseball and the softball teams have been.
Titles.
Well, softball has won 8 titles.
Been in the Final Four.
Baseball teams
been in the Final Four. They won a couple about 10, 15 years ago.
And so he's bringing it back.
And so he's bringing it back. I mean, he's bringing that tradition back.
I think he gives it a Trenton graduate.
I think he gives it a Trenton graduate.
He went to Trenton, exactly. I still feel bad for picking Bell to beat him week 1. So I feel bad about that one. But, I probably won't pick against them again for a while. Well, here's the game Corey did, and this outside of maybe Bowles St. Augustine. In fact, this had the same score as that Bowles St. Augustine game. 40-35, Palatka wins. And as you said, 3rd and 23, Palatka gives up a Hail Mary to Providence. And then Palatka quarterback Tommy Alford, who gave up the score, safety comes back, runs 44 yards for a touchdown in only 3 plays. And Palatka gets their first win of the season at Providence, who's now 0-3.
Yeah, Palatka ran.
Yeah, Palatka ran for 402 yards Friday night on 39 carries. So that was 10.1 a carry.
And I looked this up today.
When I was told
they were only 54 yards away.
54 yards away from tying,
which was set in 1984.
Which was set in 1984. 456 yards. Against Orange Park.
But back in the 80s, Orange Park was
Orange Park was
really until the early 90s, right? Yeah.
Right. Another nugget that came out of this.
Another nugget that came out of this we didn't know until yesterday.
Speaking of Tommy Alford.
In the loss to Baldwin,
he scored 2 touchdowns.
He scored 2 touchdowns. He broke
in Palatka.
John L. Williams Palatka.
Most touchdowns in a career.
It
was 58.
It was 58.
And Alford scored 2 against Baldwin. Plus the additional 3 that he scored Friday night.
He's now at 63.
John L. Williams' record is pretty good. Of course, John L. was part of the only Palatka state championship team back in 81.
1981. And then went to Florida. And then
funny because they won in 1981. Palatka did with John L. Williams, and the same year Lafayette won with Kerwin Bell, 1981.
And in 1980, I think
playing together. So
Gainesville High.
Gainesville won in 1980. That's right. Buellholz in 1990. I always remember that because it's every 10 years there. All right, the Putnam County battle we talked about last week with Coach Gibson. Close one. Interlochen comes up a little bit short, 14-7. And Crescent City scoring with 3:18 to go. This was a defensive battle. The Raiders go to 2-1, and Interlochen now 1-2.
I swear this was like the 4th or 5th straight year that this game has come down to the final couple minutes. And Interlochen, for whatever reason,
gives up the big play.
Kudos
and
LJ
Keene is only a
sophomore quarterback, by the way.
This is a big game for him.
This is a big game for him going up.
And not only county play each other. So this is the only county.
Crescent City does play
block. They just started playing last.
But they just started playing last.
That's right. They just started playing. Palatka doesn't play Interlochen.
That game was ugly.
Ugly. It was 42-0.
So technically, there is a county. Well, no, not
really.
No,
because
No, because not enough of them play
right.
there.
So,
Right.
well, they do get the win 14-7. They're Crescent City. That was at Interlochen, right? Yeah. All right, other scores we'll look at. Williston goes to Jacksonville and gets their first win of the season, 49-7 at Paxson. Santa Fe goes to 2-0 against Harvest Community, 50-0. Yeah, the schedule is really no. It's going to change a little bit for Santa Fe. Got Palaca this week. They got Newberry coming in district play, but the first 2 weeks they've taken care of Zarephath Academy and Harvest Community, so that'll step up a little bit this week in their district opener. Lafayette still unbeaten. Big win for them. 3-0 as they go to County win easily 47-22.
And that might be
the first time that they have, if they beat Brantford,
they probably will.
Which they probably will.
It might be the first time.
It might be the first time that they have swept all the rivals.
Brantford, Swanee,
and
Hamilton.
Swanee.
And typically they don't play Swanee every year.
Typically they don't play Swanee every year, but they do play Hamilton and Brantford.
Hamilton is a rival.
Yeah, because it's next door. Well,
yeah, because it's next door. Well,
because Swanee, yeah,
Lafayette, Swanee, and then Hamilton.
So Lafayette, that was at Hamilton, by the way, at Jasper, so they get that win there. Oak Hall, they continue to win, and they continue to roll up points, 52-30. That actually they won at Seven Rivers Christian, so they went down to Lecanto and got that win. To the Eagles, they're unbeaten. And of course, the week 1 game against Bell didn't happen, so they're now 3-0. Madison County gets their first win of the season and keeps Swanee winless, 49-14. Of course, Madison played DeLand first game, so they've had a tough start, but they get a win against Swanee at home.
And we'll see,
and we'll see, they're 1-2. They got their first win, the Cowboy kid, but now they get to play Columbia.
Columbia's 3-0.
Columbia's 3-0. This will be a big game for Madison.
Big game for Madison. They'll have that at home at Boot Hill this week.
Yeah.
Columbia got another win on the road last week.
39-0.
Actually, it's the next game. Taylor County stays unbeaten as they beat Dixie County 54-18. Rough week for Dixie County. They had a tragedy. One of their volleyball players died in an accident. So, and their volleyball team just came back and played last night against Union County. They'd been off for a week.
Right, and Union County brought
County brought some flowers.
I
saw that the young lady that died
had her jersey retired.
Yeah, I had a ceremony for her last night. That's again.
And speaking of that, Santa Fe
also suffered a loss this week.
Young man was killed
in a motorcycle accident. The name escapes me. He wasn't an athlete. He's still a student athlete. And so Santa Fe.
That's tough to go through that. And anytime you lose, a young man like that, young woman that age, it's rough. It's really rough. It's rough at any age, but still, when you're a teenager, that's really hard to understand. All right, so Taylor County gets the win there, and then I mentioned Columbia. They had to go all the way to Tampa to win this game, 39-0 against Hillsboro. They're 3-0, and again, Columbia continues to play a kind of an odd schedule. Though this week it makes a little more sense playing Madison County, a little bit closer to Madison County.
I can't. Traditionally, Madison County. This will be a huge test for Columbia. But Madison's struggling. Yes, they're coming off a win. But if Columbia wins, I'm not sure if it proves anything. But they will eventually play a really potential playoff.
We'll see if they're good.
We'll see if they're good.
Yep, we will see this week. All right, let's tell you again. We're at Beef O'Brady's in Stark. 40 years of beefs. Meal deals 7 days a week. You were talking earlier about the triple meal deals. Corey.
Marty, I'm
hungry. I can't wait to tear up
starter, a meal and fries, and a starter being appetizer, fountain drink, or iced tea. And again, it starts with $10.99 Angus cheeseburger and fries, crispy chicken sandwich, 6 jumbo wings and fries, $13.99 traditional Tampa Cuban and fries, 4 hand-breaded chicken tenders and fries, 10 jumbo wings, and $16.99 we have 6-ounce sirloin and fries, 12 shrimp grilled black and hand-breaded, and Angus double cheeseburger and fries. You can check that out at Beef O'Brady's. Specials every day. Tonight's Wing Wednesday and 99-cent each traditional. They got something every day here at Beef O'Brady's. Taco Tuesday, and then Burger Monday for $7.99.
I love coming home Fridays for fish and chips.
Fish and chips Fridays, $11.49, right? So,
yeah.
Again, want to thank them for allowing us to broadcast here from the back of the Beef O'Brady's in Stark. Meanwhile, we now move on to Jacksonville. And this was probably the game of the week. It was the game of the week. I mean, we knew it was going to be the game of the week, and it was. It was back and forth. And St. Augustine ends up getting the win, 40-35 at Bowles. So for the second time in 3 years, they come back late to beat Bowles at Bowles. The game at St. Augustine last year wasn't played in the weather. So St. Augustine's won 2 in a row against Bowles.
Yeah. I'm not sure if they expected a shootout like this. Maybe in the 20s. The both teams really have really good defenses. Apparently both defenses did not show up.
I think it had to do with the offense. And there's a lot of weapons on both those teams. You're right. But I'll have a chance to see Bowles this week at Bishop Kenny. St. Augustine, I don't know. I mean, they have so far rolled through the first 3 weeks of their schedule. This week, they have a bye this week. Trying to see, there's a lot of, they're at Riverside. It's 0-3 to start. So, and they might probably will go to 4-0 this week. Well, the Yellow Jackets, we have a Prep Zone Power Poll we do, and they might end up number 1 this week. I don't know because Reigns though.
I put them at number 1.
I put them at number 1.
They've had the biggest win so far this season, and Reigns is 2-0. We'll talk about them in a minute, but they've beaten Sandalwood and Trinity Christian, who are both struggling. Battle of Clay County. We talked about this last week. Oakley pitches a shutout, 31-0. Over Fleming Island, best team in the county. Yeah, so Oakley is the best team in Clay County. They've already blown out Orange Park. Blown out Fleming Island.
Yeah. I did not see that coming. I thought this was going to be a close game. Fleming Island came in undefeated. I don't know if turnovers in this game. Man, Oakley was real.
And you get another good test this week.
With
Hawthorne. Bradford was the man. Yeah.
Hawthorne.
Okay. That's another big game. There are a lot of big games this week. We'll talk about that in our preview and our picks. But Oakley will, let's just say, host Hawthorne. Fleming Island will be home to Orange Park this week. So another Clay County. All the Clay County teams all play each other. It seems like as the season goes on.
Except for one.
They're
playing cupcakes.
Because they're playing cupcakes every week. Middleburg.
Yeah. Call out our Middleburg grad friend.
Joshua Christian, Hollis Christian, North Florida Education.
They did play Clay and beat.
They did play Clay and beat Clay the other
down,
day, but
Clay's
down.
27.
Come on, Middleburg, step up and play.
Middleburg, step up and play.
I'm not sure they've ever played.
Really? That surprised me a little bit.
Unless it was preseason.
Unless it was a preseason.
It's all Middleburg able to get wins, I guess. And for them this week, they got Seraphin this week. It'll be 4-0. I have to admit that schedule. Hey, you're winning your games, but that's like Santa Fe's schedule almost.
You know how we were talking about
before we came on air and how the teams are dumbing down their schedule to get wins to make the playoffs. And Middleburg's an example.
They've gotten better the last couple of years.
They've gotten better the last couple of years.
They have. To get more wins. Reigns has not dummied down their schedule, but Trinity Christian, tough start for them. Reigns goes there and wins 48-14. Never in doubt is what you wrote here. So Reigns' first game of the season against Miami Central was postponed. Then they destroyed Sandalwood 77-0. They beat Trinity 48-14. Trinity's now 0-3, but they play the following teams: Bowles, Reigns, and Ed White. So not a bad top 3 to start. You got to think that they're
three possible
playoff
I think they're all
teams.
3 in the playoffs. I think we'll see Ed White there as well. But then you got to think at some point, Coach Dormany will get this turned around. It's just they're playing a really.
I think they're really young.
I think they're really young.
And I hate to hear that as an excuse.
I hate to hear that as an excuse.
I don't think there's a lot of seniors.
I don't think there's a lot of seniors on the team.
They're also playing,
and they're also playing a hectic schedule.
They'll get their first win most likely this week. There against North Florida Educational Institute. So Bishop Kenny goes to 2-0. No problem with Tocoi Creek, 35-14. Yes, Tocoi Creek lost their quarterback on the first drive. He got hammered throwing late, and that was it. After that, they basically were running with a second-string guy who never played, and he fumbled in his first drive. And then they were running their receiver in the Wildcat most of the rest of the game. So Bishop Kenny didn't have any problem. Tocoi scored 2 touchdowns. It was a running clock at that point, 35-0. So it's at 35-14. So Bishop Kenny does what they have to do, and now they get Bowles this week at home. So
we'll find
out how good they are.
Yeah, we will find out. Next week, their first game.
If they lose a close game, if it's competitive, going into the fourth quarter, maybe Bowles puts on a late field
and they wind up winning by 17.
It might tell a different story.
close.
They played close.
Then maybe Bishop Kenny. Pretty good.
Then maybe Bishop Kenny.
Yeah, we'll find out. I mean, they played Bowles close last year at Bowles. The game was moved the day of the game because they had all that rain last year, and of course, Bishop Kenny Field is right on the St. Johns River, so they played on Bowles Field turf. Bowles came back to win 35-28.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
So
remember
we'll
that.
see. Bishop Kenny's not a bad team. They look pretty good. Their defense is really playing
So
well.
they're playing back to back.
So they're playing back to back.
They're playing back to back at. They played back to back at Bowles last 2 years. Right.
Because of what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, they
Because of what
played
happened
3
last
games
year.
in a row at Bowles. Because 2 years ago they played there at Bowles, and then the first round of the playoffs played at Bowles, and then last year played at Bowles.
Oh.
Really, this is 4.
So really, this is 4 in a row.
No, it's 3.
2, 1,
This is a
1.
BK.
2-1-1,
But
right?
they haven't played.
Oh, this one's that BK.
It's that
Oh,
BK.
this
They haven't
one's
played a
that
BK
BK.
since
Okay.
2022, which, by the way, was the they beat Bowles for the first time in 45 years at the time. So
Yeah, we were 3.
Yeah, we were 3.
1977.
1977
Last
when
season.
Bishop Kenny
Last
last
two.
beat them.
I was
funny. I was funny.
2.5.
Well, depending on
Well, depending on
Football
yeah,
season.
I was 3.
Yeah. Make us older than we are. Meanwhile, Nice, as you said, the real deal. Battle of Unbeatens, they destroy Lincoln 47-10. That score really surprised me because we know how good Lincoln is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely surprised me because I thought that one would be a much closer game.
Meanwhile, Ware County, your Gators coming in from Waycross. They had a battle, though. And last year they lost it overtime to Bartram Trail. This time they go to Bartram, win 21-14. So Bartram's 0-3 to start. Although, again, they played Ponte Vedra. They played on the road down in Tampa against Sumner. Now they play Ware County.
Yeah, Ware County is great.
Yeah, Ware County is a great team. I mean, they've
Championship a couple years
won a
ago,
state championship a couple years ago.
years.
Traditionally, the last couple years,
Elite 8,
they've been going to the Elite 8,
Final Fours.
Final Fours.
They've
seen
consistently in the
they-
playoffs.
consistently in the
They're rolling
playoffs,
right now.
and they're rolling.
Yeah, they are. And speaking of rolling, Middleburg, we just talked about that. 3-0. Boy, they had to get by Clay, though. Clay's been struggling, but as you said, the most played rivalry in Clay County. These are, well, outside of Orange Park, the 2 oldest schools in the county. And Middleburg just gets by.
And that's the reason why.
And that's the reason why it's the most
There
played.
were a couple
because
years from Middleburg.
There were a couple years from Middleburg decided not to.
Well, Middleburg hasn't been around as long as Clay, right?
Middleburg opened in 19.
Middleburg opened in
1980.
1980.
Oh yeah, Clay's been open since.
Oh yeah, Clay's been
Yeah,
open
Clay was
since
the oldest.
20.
Orange
Yeah.
Park came in 1960. You know
Yeah,
that, but yeah. But Clay, a little history of Clay County. Middleburg goes to 3-0 there with a win, as we said. And then finally, Sandalwood. 23 straight losses. And they get shut up by Mandarin 42-0. What can you
I
say
mean,
right
not much
now?
to say about
I mean, not much to say
that. I mean,
about
that
that.
game
but-
used to be
I mean, that game used to be
Yeah.
so competitive.
Rivalry.
Sandalwood would win that game,
game.
and that game used to be a district game.
I can't remember.
You know, I can't
Mandarin or
remember
Sandalwood dropped.
if Mandarin or Sandalwood
Mandarin's
dropped
in
down
6A now.
classification.
Okay, so they dropped.
Sandalwood,
Sandalwood
they dropped.
Sandalwood's in
Sandalwood's in
7A
the
still,
college
which they probably should,
classification.
at this point, wish they weren't. But
They probably should have gone to 4A.
They probably should drop down to 4.
you think, although they got the students. Meanwhile, other scores in the Jacksonville area, Orange Park, they get a win, 2-1. They keep Riverside winless. The 23-21 win at OP. Big win for the Raiders. It's a pretty good Riverside team.
But we'll find
Yeah,
out.
but
good
we'll
they are.
find out how
Yeah,
good they
well,
are.
we already
when they
saw
play
what happened.
Plymouth.
That's true. Meanwhile, this
Yeah.
score surprised me a little bit too. Ponte Vedra went to Baker County and beat them 35-10. So the Sharks go to 2-1. This game was not close. And McClinney, University Christian, they go to 2-1. They avenge the loss to Bishop Kenny, and they give Jackson their first loss of the season, 44-6.
And you and I
I picked Jackson to win that game. You picked
course,
UC
you
to
saw
win that game. Of course, you saw UC play
Yeah,
the week before.
but Jackson, this is the best team
Bobby,
they've had.
Bobby Ramsey.
Yeah, but
Best
Bobby
team they've had in a
Ramsey,
while, you're right.
you know, he's
Because they were a power for a while, but UC goes to 2-1 again. Jackson 2-1. Ed White, no problem with Westside, 65-0. That used to be a rivalry too. Westside is down this year, and they were down last year too.
yeah,
They're
they're 0-3. They play Revolt this week, and I think Revolt's also
Yeah,
0-3.
Revolt.
So somebody will get the
Camden
first
County,
win.
We'll talk about that in a minute too. Fletcher still unbeaten. Go to beat Atlantic Coast. I think this is a rivalry game. 35-6, but Atlantic Coast has just been being pounded by Mandarin and Fletcher. Fletcher stays unbeaten. Ridgeview, I believe this has got to be their first win of the season. 13-7 over Inglewood. I think both teams were winless coming in. So Ridgeview gets the win. Again, Baldwin stays undefeated. They beat KIP.
KIP.
KIPP.
Bold City.
Bowles City Academy.
No problem there. And Episcopal, no problem for them. They stay unbeaten, although, again, their schedule has been pretty dumbed down this year. They beat Stanton 31-0.
Well, when you drop
your
big rival, Bishop Kenny,
You're playing cupcakes.
I mean, you're playing cupcakes.
Yeah, Stanton 31-0. Although Stanton's 2-2, yeah, it's still a game they're going to win. Speaking of Wolfson, 46-0. They lose to Impact Christian. So Wolfson again having another rough season.
Yeah, bad loss for the Wolves.
Yeah, bad loss for the Wolfpack.
Beachside, they go to Menendez and win in a St. Johns County rivalry, 20-14. Bishop Kenny plays both these teams on the road later in the season. Menendez in their district, so Beachside now 2-1. Yulee, how about this? 19-12 over Charlton County. They're 3-0. Charlton County goes down to Yulee right across the border, and Yulee gets the win.
Yeah, that's a big win for Yulee.
And
I remember it used to always be Hilliard and Charlton County play each other because they literally are the same border. But now apparently it's Yulee turn to play Charlton County. But
Yulee's been impressive so far.
Yulee's been impressive so far.
They're 3-0. Yeah,
3-0,
right.
They're 3-0.
Wins over Union County.
Wins over Union County.
Clay, and now
Charlton County.
Bernadita Beach 56-6 over Duval Charter. Creekside still winless, 0-3. They lose to Spruce Creek 27-13. This game, I looked at the score of the second quarter. If this is right, it said Ribault 13, Camden County 10. It ended up 56-13, Camden County. I know, I saw that score. I was like, wow, Ribault going to pull an upset? No, they weren't. They got blown out.
One of the best stadiums
I've ever been to.
Go to a game.
It is a Division two college stadium.
I need to go there that week before the season starts, because Georgia they play.
Back when they used to play the Florida Georgia, Florida High School versus
they'd have like
a triple header. Then it became like one or two games.
Then it became like one or two games.
I would go every year.
Yeah, I would go every year, and it's like, man, this place is just unreal.
And Eagles View 22, Rocky Bayou nothing. So that's a look at all of the scores from the Jacksonville area. There's a bunch. So now we will take a look at this week. Thursday night. We'll start tomorrow night with Interlochen. They're on the road at unbeaten Umatilla.
That game's going to get ugly quick.
Is that good?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Umatilla
and them played last year. It was 55.
Interlochen lost some weapons.
Lost some weapons. They only scored 7 points last year. So Umatilla,
not such a great schedule.
But they've been killing. They did beat
good news for Interlochen is they may get a win on Monday. So against Christchurch.
Yeah,
and then they're back at it next Friday, too. As you said, 3 games in 8 days.
West
Oaks Academy home. I think that's
all right. Friday night. They got a lot of these 3-0 games this week. This is a good one. Nice and Fletcher. Nice has to go out to the beach to play Fletcher, although they're kind of near the beach in Ponte Vedra. But they got to go down to Neptune Beach.
And before Nice and Ponte Vedra titled their rivalry Battle of the Bridge, that used to be the Battle
Nice
of the
and
Bridge.
Fletcher.
Yeah,
right.
They were literally
because they were literally
Ponte Vedra into Neptune. So anyway, both teams 3-0 there. We mentioned this, Bradford and Mandarin, both teams 3-0. Mandarin lost to Bradford here last year at Stark. Bradford, someone's going to get their first loss. Someone's going to go to 4-0. That should be a good one. As well as Hawthorne Oakley, both teams 3-0 there.
If I wasn't covering a game, those would definitely be 3 games I would go pay to see.
Reigns, they got a test this week with Lake Mary. That was 7A playoff team normally. Lake Mary, Reigns 2-0, host Lake Mary 2-1. Bowles, Bishop Kenny, I'll be there. That's going to be fun, I think. Bowles 2-1, Bishop Kenny 2-0. Said Bowles has dominated this rivalry for years, but Bishop Kenny got them at home last time they played. So we'll see on Friday night. Bowles is coming off that loss to St. Augustine. They're going to be ready to go on Friday. 7A District 1 matchup. Atlantic Coast 1-2 at Sandalwood. Another rivalry. 0-3. Sandalwood, Atlantic Coast open up district play there. Atlantic Coast, both teams are struggling.
I mean, if Sandalwood wants to make the playoffs, then obviously they're going to stop the streak. But then you can score points, and this is a game that maybe they could win this game. And if they can win this game, maybe they can get rolling.
Ponte Vedra and Beachside is the 5A District 3 game. Another St. Johns County.
That's another game I'd go.
That's another game I'd go.
Beachside is really pretty good, apparently. That's where we'll be next week for Bishop Kenny on Thursday, actually, for that game. Beachside last year beat them 41-8, Bishop Kenny. So they get Ponte Vedra at home. Meanwhile, another 5A District 3 game. How did Orange Park get in this district? Orange Park and Fleming Island, both teams 2-1. Can Orange Park win this game? Pittsburgh win this game? Of course they can.
Well, yeah.
Of course they can.
Well, yeah, of course they can, but will they not like this?
This has not been a rivalry.
Interesting about this game. This game used to be the last game of the year.
Now they're in the district.
But I guess because they joined districts, they got to play it middle.
4A District 4, 2-0 Ed White at 0-3 Inglewood. That might get ugly as well.
Running clock.
Yeah.
Running clock.
3A District 4, Menendez. This is actually Bishop Kenny's district. Menendez and Terry Parker. Menendez 1-2 and Parker 0-2. 2A District 5 game. Somebody's going to win a game. Newberry 0-3, Keystone Heights 0-2.
Yeah, it's going to be ugly there too.
Yeah. And get to 2A District 5. This is recorded will be on Friday. Palaca coming out for the first swing against Providence at unbeaten Santa Fe.
Yeah, we'll see if Santa Fe's for real.
Yeah, we will.
They haven't played nobody yet. But.
North Friday night. That's always a good place for a game. They're in Alachua. Nice stadium.
I was surprised by this, considering Santa Fe's success. Palaca is 6-0 all time against Santa Fe.
Wow.
You would think at some point in the 90s when both teams were really good, Santa Fe would have beaten Palaca, but they never had.
Palaca was really good in the 80s to Santa Fe in the 90s when they won their state titles. Trinity Christian, as we mentioned, hosting North Florida Educational Institute. That's a 1A District 2 game. Paxton and Stanton, the Brain Bowl. Both teams are 2-2. And somebody's going to be 3-2.
And that's also a conference game, too, with the Atlantic League.
Right. If we go to the 3-0 teams to the 0-3 teams, this surprises me a little bit. Creekside and Bartram Trail, big rivalry there. Both teams 0-3 coming in.
This is the Action News game of the week, actually. Brent Martineau loves Creekside and Bartram Trail.
Well, that's good. They're both 0-3, so enjoy that. You could have gone to Mandarin. You could have gone to – well, I get it. It's St. Johns County teams. But, yeah, there's a lot of other games they probably could have chosen there. Speaking of that, First Coast will go out to McClinney and play Baker County. First Coast 1-1, Baker County 1-2. Buchholz, we mentioned this, 2-1 Bobcats. Go to Manatee, who's 1-2. Last year, the teams played at Santa Fe, actually. The game was moved there from Citizens Field. That was the same week as all the rain, and the Bishop Kenny game got moved. And that actually ended up being a really good game. Manatee came back to win late. We'll see if Buchholz can win down there on the road against Manatee.
I'm looking at the next game, and I'm wondering, do you know the status of the quarterback from Chacoy Creek?
I do not. I actually thought he might come back in the other night, but we never saw him. But I have a feeling that they don't really have
was
to.
Was it a minor injury, or was it?
He got hit pretty hard. I never heard completely what the injury was, but we didn't see him after that. He got hit and he threw a pick. But I'm going to see Chacoy Creek's going to probably win either way against Clay. 0-3, Clay. Not a district game there. I mentioned Middleburg 3-0 hosting Zarephath, who's 0-2. Somebody's got to win a game. Bellevue or Dixie County. Can Bellevue get it done this week and finally end up losing?
We'll see.
24 in a row. I guess the Dixie County team is struggling as well. Matanzas and Andrew Jackson 2-1. They'll play this week. I mentioned Columbia 3-0 at Madison County 1-2. Always good to see that matchup going on.
Love going to Boot Hill.
Yeah, that's right. And I like going to games there. We've done a few games in the playoffs out there. It is a lot of fun to go there. St. Augustine at Riverside 3-0 against 0-3. Another game where somebody's going to win. Westside and Revault, both teams 0-3. Revault's second game at their new home stadium. I think they'll probably get a win this week. Yulee's going to travel to Lake Wales to take on McLaughlin. That's a new one to me.
I think they're a first-year team. I think.
So Yulee taking a long trip. That's an interesting schedule Yulee has, too. Baldwin, unbeaten, travels to Union County, who's 1-1. Union County lost to Yulee, beat Keystone in their first two games. Now they get Baldwin at home. Somebody's got to win here. Kip, Bold City, and Wolfson. Both teams 0-3. I don't know if either team has scored. So we'll see how that goes. Providence, still looking for their first win, 0-3, goes to unbeaten Episcopal 3-0, but I almost think this is probably Episcopal's toughest test at this point.
Well, having seen Providence last week, they got some athletes.
Right.
I'm not sure if they can play defense, but offensively, they can score with anybody.
Yeah, that's kind of the way they were last year, too, Providence, and they made the playoffs last year. University Christian, 2-1, they're taking the trip to Tampa Catholic, who's still 0-3. Trinity Catholic already beat them earlier in the year. Eastside tries to avenge their loss to Buchholz, traveling to Ocala to take on 2-0 Trinity Catholic. Can Eastside get a win here at Trinity Catholic?
What's that? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Can Eastside get a win at Trinity Catholic?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I think that's one of our pickups.
Eastside's not bad. Trust me. They play good stuff. But yeah, we'll see. They travel to Ocala. take on the Celtics. Lake Weir, 2-1 at Bell, 0-3. Bell get off the schneid, as they say. Here's another game where somebody's going to win. Now, that's Bronson in this losing streak. They're traveling to 0-2 Pearson Taylor.
This is a game they can win. Pearson Taylor, I've seen them the last couple of years. They're big rivals, Crescent City. They play every year. Mainly a junior high team because they have so many injuries every year, just like Bronson, that this could actually be the game that they actually win.
And we'll see.
I doubt it, but they could.
It's at Pearson Taylor. This could be a good one. 4-0 hosting Fort White, 2-1. Fort White coming off the win at North Marion, pardon me. West Nassau 4-0, also unbeaten. Nassau County's having a good year so far. Hamilton County 2-1 will come in to play the Warriors of West Nassau. Chiefland and Lafayette, rural battle. Lafayette 3-0 hosting 2-1 Chiefland. This is usually a good ball game.
Oh, yeah. You got to love those 1A games.
Yeah. Or rural.
Or rural league now, yeah.
Yeah, 1A. Eaglesview and Hilliard will play this week. Trenton, unbeaten 3-0, takes a trip to Jefferson County, who's 1-2. Leesburg and Vanguard, that is a district game, I believe. Both teams are 2-1. Yeah, it is. And Gainesville, I mentioned that, 2-1 will travel to Forest, who's 1-1. So Gainesville, fourth straight road game for them. Vanguard finally gets a home game. They've been on the road 3 straight weeks. So they get Leesburg this week. So let's look at the games this week. Now, we don't have much time left. We have rolled through about 50 minutes of this, and time now to make our picks. Coming up again, the college football show, college football gridiron show coming up, the Gridiron Report with myself and Corey Davis. We'll talk college football for the next hour from 9 to 10 o'clock. But first, let's take a look at the picks for this week.
Well, Marty, you went 9-3 last week. I was way behind you back there at 5-7.
Ooh, rough week.
So you have now combined 24-12. I am 20-16.
Okay.
So you got a 4-game lead.
All came from last week. In fact, I don't remember how. Man, I must have gotten every head-to-head game then if it was a 4-game difference.
Yeah, there was a big difference there.
Yeah.
All right.
This is going to be fun. This is going to be a lot of games this week to look at. And we're going to start with Neese and Fletcher, both teams 3-0. You going to go first or me?
I'll go first, and then you can go first in college.
Okay, go ahead.
Man, this is a tough one. Fletcher is a tough place to play. But Neese is rolling. Neese are both rolling. Neese is coming off that win against Lincoln. Fletcher played Atlanta Coast last week. I'm not sure if Fletcher has really played anybody that's relevant right now. Neese has played pretty good schedule. I can't remember who they played before that.
Fletcher hasn't played. I think they played Reball.
I'm picking Neese.
Yeah. I think Neese might be the best team in the area, in that area. Maybe in this whole area. I'll take them to win that game. I know it's a Fletcher, like you said, but I think Neese is too good there as well. All right, Bradford and Mandarin 3-0. I remember last year I took Mandarin to win this game. It didn't happen here in Stark. I don't know. This is going to be a tough one. Again, another good ball game.
Trying to remember if this was the game because Mandarin played Bradford, then played IMG. Tramel Jones got hurt. And
before the Bradford game, I think. Or did he get hurt in the Bradford game?
What was the other kid's name? He ended up getting hurt too. Jamie French. French
the
got hurt.
Who was supposed to go
and
to Texas.
Mandarin went to the playoffs, but they weren't the same after that stretch.
Right.
Man. Close one. I think Mandarin gets revenge.
Got Mandarin, huh? Yeah, you know what? That's funny. I agree with you on that. I think Mandarin's going to win. I picked them to win last year. But I have a feeling at some point, Bradford going on the road, this is like their third straight. Actually, yeah, they had a home game against Rayford County week 1. I think it's going to be tough to see who Bradford can win this game, but I'm going to go with Mandarin as well at home.
All right.
All right, that leaves us now to the other 3-0 game. Hawthorne and Oakleaf.
It's hard to get. I know Coach CI, they've been really good in the last 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
But the way Oakleaf is playing right now, they're not just beating teams. They are beating teams. Right. They, running clock on Blooming Island. Who saw that coming? I'm going with Oakleaf.
Well, we're 3 for 3 because I agree with you. And if this game is at Hawthorne, I might take the Hornets again. But I have a feeling, and again, this is a rural school going against a 6A school. I mean, in football, that matters sometimes. It really does. In this case, and we can say the same about Bradford. That's a 2A against a 6A, but Bradford's usually pretty big. Bradford's usually pretty big. But I like. I'm with Oakleaf the way they're playing. I'm not going to go against them at home either. I'll take the Oakleaf Knights to win that. All right, Lake Mary. We mentioned this game at Rains 2-0. Lake Mary's 2-1.
If this game was at Lake Mary, I would like Lake Mary's chances. I believe their quarterback is committed to Notre Dame.
Yes.
Really good team. Went in the playoffs last year. But you can't go to the graveyard and come out with a win like that. I'm taking the Vikings.
Not so fast. Yeah, I agree with you. Right? And right, as good as Lake Mary is, I just don't see them going into Rains and winning that game. I mentioned East might be the best team in the area. It might be St. Augustine. It might be Rains. So that's what we're looking at right now. And I think Rains will win that game at home as well because they were supposed to play Miami Central week 1. I think they're still kind of pent up after that because they played Sandalwood and Trinity. And I think that they're going to be ready for this game as well. So I'll take Rains. Bowls and Bishop Kenny. Here's our game, my game of the week. I'll be there for this game. And big robbery. Bowls and Bishop Kenny 2-1.
Well, not much to say here. I know the Crusaders are coming in 2-0.
Not much to say here.
But I mean, history speaks for itself. When you've only won twice
History doesn't mean
in
anything.
50 years,
Has nothing to do with the current teams on the field, but okay.
Sure, it eventually gets in your head. I mean, the seniors on this team were 8th grade or freshmen. The last time Bishop Kenny won this game,
It's like
22
3 years ago. 3 years ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
22.
So,
yeah, they're freshmen. They would have been freshmen then.
and not likely any freshmen from then are still on the team now.
Right.
I doubt there was not a freshman on the varsity, but Bowls all the way.
Not so fast, my friend. You know what does matter? Well, talent matters. And Bowls probably has more of that, but they do. But here's the thing. That doesn't always matter either. This place is going to be rocking on Friday night. They are ready to play Bowls. The Bishop Kenny student section will be ready. Kenny at home has been tough, especially since St. Brown's got there. And you know what? I'm going to take Bishop Kenny. I'm going to stick with it for now.
Okay.
I don't want to pick against them and show up on Friday and they win. But
well, let me tell you a quick funny story. The first game I ever covered for the Times Union, they did picks back then, and it was like Rains and Parker or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Are you the guy that picked us to lose?" And I'm like, "No, that was not me." People take this stuff serious.
They do. They read it. They really do. And that's interesting too. All right, we mentioned this game: 2-1 teams, Leesburg and Vanguard. And
I think we haven't seen the potential of Vanguard yet. And if not for a wet field, I think Vanguard might be 3-0.
Yeah, they lost by 2 to Buchholz. It's true. That game was delayed 2 hours too. And so you like Vanguard, and I'm going to go with Vanguard too. I think.
Yeah, give me the Knights. Yeah,
I'll take Vanguard as well. I think you're right. And they beat Lake Vanilla 76-0. So obviously they took some frustration out from that Buchholz game.
I got this record wrong. The next game, by the way. Chiefland's 2-1.
Yeah, Chiefland 2-1. They lost to Baker County.
Right.
Fayette 3-0. Fayette's playing well.
I'm picking Lafayette.
You know what? I'll take Chiefland. I'll go.
Okay.
I'll take Chiefland on the road. I think Chiefland's
Oh.
going to have lost to Baker County.
Well, if I disagree with the next 2 games, so that's fine.
Really? On Beachside or next. Both teams 2-1.
I love Beachside. They got a tremendous quarterback. This guy's being recruited by everybody. Last name is Jordan.
Yeah, you're right. Lake Mary's quarterback Noah Grubbs is going to Notre Dame.
Right.
He's committed to Notre Dame.
I remember him last year he started for Lake Mary. Give me Beachside.
Okay, you know what? I agree with you.
Oh.
I like Beachside as well. And their quarterback is Eddie Jordan.
Eddie Jordan.
I agree. It's a talented team. They were a good team last year. Ponte Vedra, impressive win against Baker County against Bartram, but this game's at Beachside. It's a huge rivalry. I think you're right. I think, by the way, he's committed to play not at Lafayette, but Lafayette.
Oh, okay.
So all their offers from BC, Bowling Green, Charlotte, Delaware State. So, but I agree. I think Beachside wins. So we're not going to have a difference there. Now this game, maybe. Buholtz, go ahead to Bradenton and play Manatee. Go ahead.
I played there. I know how tough it is.
Right.
If not playing, playing that team from California, they're easily, my math is correct, 2-1 in this game. Going into this game. I'm taking Manatee. Buholtz is not really. They showed promise last week by coming back to win that game.
Yeah.
But I think that we still haven't seen the full potential of Buholtz yet.
Yeah. And you know what? You're right. It's a tough place to play, like you said.
You want Buholtz.
I kind of do want to take Buholtz. All right, I'll take Buholtz.
Okay.
I mean, you're right. That's going to be a close one. But, all right, who's going to win? Creekside and Bartram Trail. Both teams 0-3. We got 0-3 games coming up, so there we go.
Not really any decision here. I'm just going with Bartram Trail because it's home. They did play Ware County really close last week, so maybe they are a good team. Maybe they're just really young. We know Creekside.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, did you take Creekside?
I took Bartram.
You're taking Bartram. Yeah, I think Bartram's going to get off the schneid, as we say, and they'll beat their rival, get their first win of the season. I'll go with the Bears as well, the Bartram Trail. All right.
Speaking of the Bears,
Dixie County Bears, the Bellevue Rattlers, 0-3 and 0-3. Does Bellevue get that losing streak over?
I never heard of Bellevue until they came to Arch Park for a basketball game, and I was like, "Who are the Diamondback Rattlers?"
Yeah.
I think they get the first win this week. Dixie County's struggling. I mean, they're both struggling.
Yeah.
But I think if they don't win this week, they may lose all their games.
Bellevue's been. I mean, they only lost by a touchdown to Chiefland last week, so they're getting close.
So I think the streak stops this week.
All right, I'll take Bellevue.
Okay.
I'll go with you on that one. All right, finally, the Brain Bowl. Paxton, Stanton, 2-2, 2-2.
Two pretty even teams, but
Are they?
Paxton traditionally wins this rivalry. Even they're both having the same record right now.
Right.
On the field, Paxton's way better than Paxton. So I'm going with Paxton.
Yeah, I have a feeling Paxton is going to win that game too. I'm with you on that. So I'll take the Golden Eagles of Paxton as well.
All right, so we have 1, 2, 3.
Any differences?
3 games.
Okay. There you go. Good week of picks too. And we will talk about those games next week when we return for our next edition of the High School Football Gridiron Report here on North Florida Sports Talk. I am Marty Pallman. He is Corey Davis. We will be back in just a few moments for our college football Gridiron Report coming up. I want to thank Beef Brady's and Stark once again, and we will tell you more about them in the next hour as well as we talk to you about college football. But another big week in high school football coming up, week 4 this week, and we will talk to you next week once again here with the High School Football Gridiron Report. Goodbye. Good night. Oops. Start that period. I know I've been looking at the times. Our high school show's been running about an hour. I don't have. I couldn't get Brockway because I didn't know how to do it. I can probably get him most any week. But if they lose to LSU, we'll talk to them and we'll get them on next week.